With success comes failure. No matter what you do, no matter how good you are at whatever, there will always be down to your ups. If there weren't any, then would they even be called ups? I can only think of how many illustrations I have made throughout my whole life, and I'm not even talking about just the good ones. I'm talking about from the start of it all. From when I had no implication or knowledge of anatomy, from when I made stick figures or tried to replicate or even make up poses from the top of my head. From when I started using watercolor or gouache and failed miserably. From all the drafts that I had to redo because it just wasn't the one for either myself or the clients I was working with. But let's just say you finally took the leap of faith and started a small online shop. You have all your products down, you spent weeks or months working on it, and then when you finally open up your shop, it's as quiet as crickets. Maybe you get a sale once or twice a month, and then you start to think to yourself, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe my art is not good enough. But here's the thing, it's not that you're not good enough. Perhaps you just didn't plan or strategize enough before you launched. So let's take it step by step. When creating the product itself, you want to keep in mind, who are you creating for? If you already have an audience, then that's great. If you don't and you're starting from scratch, you can also work with this. Although yes, it is important to pay attention to the consumer, you want to be able to make products that you also enjoy creating and not solely making it for the purpose of others or money. Do you have a certain niche genre that you create? Is it fan art? Is it food illustrations? Maybe plants? Or even just relatable products that your audience holds dear? If it's the fan art realm, there's such saturation for products to make with this. From keychains, badges, prints, pins, stickers, acrylic stands, plushies, etc. I noticed that people who buy fan art usually get products of their bias or favorite characters, so maybe give them a selection of things to buy from to add to their shrine. Or let's say you create comics or clean line work, or you could make coloring books and sell it with Amazon KDP or anything similar of that sort. Or you could even make printables and sell that on your online store. Perhaps you want to create a book with a collection of your work for those who really admire it. Maybe this is harder for those who are starting out, but who says you can't have dead stock years after you opened up shop? At the end of the day, you want to create something that isn't forceful. Create something that is true to you, because I believe the work that the artist is immersed with themselves sells best. And if you're starting out your small business but don't have much to invest in, yet still want nice quality products to sell, perhaps you should look into print-on-demand companies like Printful, who is a sponsor of today's video. I recently ordered some of these items I created, a Bella Canvas shirt and a Gilman sweater, too, actually one for me and my brother. And when I tell you, I was so astonished with how nice quality each one was. Though I was more impressed with the sweater because I've never felt such a soft and lightweight hoodie that is nicely boxy for the comfort occasion. But the prints on the garment itself was astonishing. It was neither crooked nor was the print I uploaded low quality. It's very important to know what you are selling to your customers, so I always recommend getting samples, especially if you wanted to make your own product photos with your own models and props. Nonetheless, Printful has more than sweaters and shirts to make products out of, from mugs, socks, embroidered clothes, hat, prints, and so much more. They take care of manufacturing and shipping. All that you have to do as the artist is create and set the prices to each product onto your website or a free storefront you can make on their site. So whether you want to start making things on the side while you're still in school or with your full-time job but don't have time to invest in all the admin work and physical labor, they got you covered. And if you're thinking, oh, but I don't have money to put in, no worries. You can sign up and start creating for free. They just take a portion for those services while you keep the rest to grow your business. If you want to use Printful to start your business, you can click the link down below in the description. And thank you to Printful for sponsoring today's video. Once you have your beautiful artwork ready to produce, you want to make sure that the quality is pristine. And I'm not just talking about the design or illustration. Of course, your DPI should be set to the highest that it should be at. I think you should be creating the bestest quality of work when it comes, whether it be ceramics, keychains, prints, or clothes. You don't want it to be off-centered or with nail marks or lint or even fingerprints for prints. But it's also important to keep in mind the quality of product photos or videos that you make for short content. You're going to want to keep in mind of the setting, lighting, and camera that you'd be working with. You'd want to keep the surrounding area clean and cluttered free so that it doesn't stray away from the product itself. We want to keep the viewer focused on what you're selling. You want to be sure to have good lighting, whether it be studio lighting or natural lighting, whatever is the best look for your product. You want to be able to show the whole product and not have it be overpowered by the shadows or highlights. And you don't need to have a fancy DSLR camera to film or photograph your work. If you have a modern phone with a decent quality camera, that works just as fine. And don't be afraid to edit the photos as needed or on Photoshop or Procreate or whatever you have. We want the ad to speak your voice and match your brand. So whether it's fun or whimsical or even just simple yet elegant, you can also do that with post-production. Just make sure not to distort the colors of it too much, as we want to keep the product image true to its color. Now this step is super duper crucial to driving sales. Without this, you're honestly just wasting time, and that is marketing. You see all these ads for movies, music, clothes, phones, etc. And maybe not everyone will click on the link or purchase, but within each advertisement you post, there is like a 3% chance of someone ordering that product out of the thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that watch that reel or that post. Although that number can fluctuate, the more that someone sees the advertisement, the more you're likely to grab a sale from them. And I'm not just talking about posting one reel or carousel. I'm talking about several, twice or more a week, posting on your story, creating email campaigns to send to your audience. If you have an email newsletter, even if you just make a long form content on YouTube, you can promote your work even if it's just for 30 seconds. You'd be surprised with the results you may get. And I'm not saying to spam your followers with it all the time, but tastefully advertising is ideal. Now, whether to post it before, during, or after the drop is another question. Honestly, I recommend doing all of the above. But remember, don't post it too far in advance because people will forget about it. And of course, you should post the drop after you release the product, or rather right when you post it. Remind your audience that, hello, I still exist and these products are now available, so go get them while it's still available. And even after you release it, keep promoting those gosh darn products. Showcase each item per post maybe. Or like I said, show the process of each product that you make. Now let's say you did all of this and still you got zip nothing. Or maybe you didn't get to the audience you should have gone for. If you have followed me for a while now, you notice I do an abundance of things. From stickers, prints, apparel, upcycled clothes, coloring books, art books, and I evolve each and every time. Now, does this mean I do well within each evolution, each drop? Absolutely not. I have ups and downs to that of a business. When I started getting into upcycling clothing, I got so excited to make each and every single piece. I made each one unique to their own, and when I had finally released it, there were a lot of crickets. And no matter how many times I posted, my followers weren't having it. Why? Because perhaps that's not what they signed up for. Perhaps that wasn't even in their budget for them, which is fine. However, when I had brought these pieces to a convention, I sold out within 2 days. Why? I actually have no idea. My guess is 1, people just like apparel. 2, there's plenty of people who really like thrifting and upcycled clothes. And 3, maybe that's just what the specific audience was looking for. I sold to people who have never heard of me. Although I have 200,000 plus followers on Instagram and abundant of others throughout my social media platforms, doesn't mean that they are going to like every single thing that I make, let alone buy them. I forgot where I heard this from. Maybe it was from another YouTube artist, I couldn't tell you. But someone said that your sellers shouldn't be other artists. You want to market towards those that just appreciate art and handmade goods. Which, who knows, maybe that may be the case for you. I think that's what's great about selling at conventions or artist alleys or art markets. Sure, they create too, that's totally fine, but they go there specifically to buy things with such limited time. They're more inclined to purchase out of impulse. And even after all of this has been implemented and you still have only gotten 2 to 3 sales in the last month, try again. Study your favorite business owner or artist or whatever you have. See how they are strategizing and go back to the drawing plan or sketchbook and see what you can do differently that is still true to you. Businesses don't usually pick up until like I think 5 years. It takes that much time for people to skyrocket, but you can't just wait. You actually have to act upon the end goal. If you like this video, mayhaps you want to check out my other videos and maybe subscribe. I have an online store if you want to check that out. And if you want to start selling online with no risks or labor, check out Printful with the link down below. And don't give up on your dreams, because those who make it never quit. And I know you are not a quitter, okay? Thank you for hearing me out, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.